On a Himalayan hillside, a minyan of rabbis and Jewish scholars chanted their morning prayers. They were so high up that below you could see eagles winging the lush green Kangra Valley. Closer to ground, piebald magpies called raucously back and forth. Our Hebrew prayers mingled in the Hindu air with wood smoke from homes in the valley. This was long ago, October 1990, but bringing these images to mind, it comes back to life. I told the story of the historic Jewish-Buddhist dialogue in The Jew in the Lotus. I would like to speak more personally here of a path that first opened for me then, when I got swept up in a flood of new images of the strange gods and goddesses of Tibetan iconography. The fierce Yamantaka, with his sharp eye teeth and sword cutting through delusion, the dancing Dakinis, and a wedding cake of Buddhas stacked by a pool of nectar. Coming from a completely aniconic tradition, I was dazzled by the power of images. But these images offered more than local color. For Tibetan Buddhist practitioners, they had the power to heal through visualizations that, from what I could observe, led to clarity of mind and a quiet joy. One of them was Michael Soutman, a personal student of the Dalai Lama, who, along with my dear late friend Mark Lieberman, had organized the Jewish-Buddhist dialogue. Tall and handsome, with a slightly mysterious air, he walked into the Kashmir Cottage dining room that October morning in 1990, bearing a question for the Jewish delegates from the Dalai Lama. Back then, I was Jewish because I was born that way. Proud of my identity, I naturally practiced the Jewish religion, at least in the form I'd been taught. At the same time, and it baffled most all my poet friends, I'd been writing Jewish poems since my mid-20s, and published a book called The Missing Jew, which has become a life project. The Jewish poems burst out against my will, with rabbis talking in cemeteries or Kabbalists taking trains to New Jersey. The poems were more Jewish than I knew myself to be. They came from the place where poems come from, which is also the place dreams come from. That writing was my first strong experience of an uncontrollable beauty that has its own life inside us and seeks a way out into the world. A Jewish poet, but I did not understand then that the sacred takes place in imagination. A poetic state of mind is the ground of visionary experience. I didn't have a daily spiritual practice like the devoted rabbis and monks I was observing in Dharamsala. I felt like an outsider, a nobody, embedded among the somebodies whose dialogue I would observe. Yet we were all drawn gravitationally to that nova of world spirituality, Tenzin Gyatso, the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet, long may he live and prosper.